Welcome to the Friends of Feedies podcast, brought to you by Feed Canada, our funding partner, ISED, and founding partner, the Saskatchewan Food Centre. This show is all about celebrating the incredible journeys of female entrepreneurs in the agri-food and food manufacturing sector. We're here to dish out the secrets of success and serve up a side of inspiration along the way. We are the Feed program where dreams are made, businesses are born, and the agri-food world is your oyster. Let's dine together. Hello, and welcome to the Friends of the Feedies podcast, where we celebrate bold women building Canada's agri-food future. I'm your host, Lindsay Toth, and today we're taking a deep dive into the intersection of tech pricing and entrepreneurship with someone who's on a mission to transform how food businesses make decisions. Melanie Morrison is the founder and CEO of BetterCart Analytics, a Saskatchewan-based company using AI and machine learning to deliver hyper-local, real-time price analytics to grocers, CPG brands, and food processors. Her company is revolutionizing the way pricing decisions are made, giving smaller players a real shot at growth and profitability. Welcome to the podcast, Melanie.
Thanks, Lindsay. It's so nice to be here with you.
I'm very excited to have you join us. Melanie, let's start with your background. You've got a PhD in experimental psychology and a deep research portfolio. What led you from academia to founding a tech company in the food industry?
Oh, goodness. That's such a good question. It's been quite a wild ride, actually. Coming out of academia and being exposed to all of the topics I was exposed to. I'm in the area of social psychology, and so really concerned about systemic injustice and people being left behind, marginalized social groups, discrimination, prejudice, and stereotyping. And I knew that on the, social mobility or economic mobility side, there's so much around class-based discrimination and versus privilege that, we were not really talking about in where I was working, and certainly not a lot of as much research done as should be done. One of the issues that brought me to my specific start with BetterCart Analytics was looking at just the challenges people were experiencing economically and realizing that we need to do a lot better. We need to start with some foundational piece here, and that is our food. The ability to acquire it, access it, our dollars to go further. And I had my own experiences in my own life, not coming from great wealth whatsoever when I was growing up. And, then also realizing, discrepancies. It was a mess on the consumer side in terms of how we went about purchasing things, how we could get left behind fairly easily, hemorrhage money. If we didn't know a lot about what retailers were doing, the prices that were out there, and we'd get charged more for the same goods at different stores. So I, had tucked this away for a long while. Meanwhile, my own personal life is heating up here. I became a single mom. I had 3 little kids. And I thought, if I'm a professor and I'm feeling this pinch here around pricing and concern about it, I'm sure everybody else is as well. And so started doing some, having some conversations with people. Would this be of interest to you if we built a consumer app, for instance, that would help shoppers know where to go to shop, turn left or right, home from work, and so on? So yes. I would love that. That would be great. And I thought, okay, this is good. My own instinct is telling me that there's some need here. Verified it with, other humans, and that was a good move. But then, we started building, and about 5 years ago, we kicked this off, and we, started accumulating all of this pricing data from e-commerce sites across the country, and other metadata and attributes and products and so on. Started putting this together, and so we also realized that the consumer side is a mess. There's a lot of discrepancy. People we operate in the dark oftentimes, and it's a lot of guesswork to make our dollars go further. And they don't right now, especially. But on the food provision side, the brands that are coming to the market and trying to compete. There's also a huge need there for many food companies that, without assistance will be left behind. And they're going to have a very hard time competing against the biggest players in the field. And I thought, okay, if it's ever going to get better for consumers, we better challenge the status quo. We better be supporting those companies that are going to create more diversity and diversification in the supply chain and for procurement. We don't want food monopolies in this country. So that's was the impetus behind moving on that B2B side and assisting companies. And eventually we'll pull it back and use our consumer side again to support consumers.
Well, I love that. And so this kind of ties in a little bit, but what inspired BetterCart Analytics? Like, was there a specific moment or a specific insight that set you like, this is the path sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, from my own observations, I knew that there was a gap and I was feeling it myself. And to be honest, I had my first child and just buying baby supplies, baby goods that everyone needs. Realized just the difference in pricing between two stores and me. You're on a reduced income when you're on a parental leave, doesn't last forever. Every dollar has to count. And I was like, this is an $18 difference. Like, how is this? How am I doing this? And why am I doing this? And so, but then because of my life circumstance, I had to suck up this motivation. I just had to sit on it. And I had to sit on it for a while because I wasn't in a position in my life circumstances to actually launch a tech startup. So I, kept this idea and it kept burning. And eventually, Lindsay, I said to a family member, my mom, in fact, I said, look, if I don't start this, I am going to die. I'm going to fall apart psychologically here because this is just something I need to get going. I don't want to wake up 10 years down the road and say, oh, that was a great idea that someone else had. so so I took the plunge and started out and building. So if we really want to pinpoint, it's like the Aveeno diaper cream. So the cost for that and just the need and bit by bit started to piece together the lack of transparency, the need for democratized pricing information, and how companies and people are left behind all the time. And I thought, okay, I care about social justice. Let's go. This is a social impact play as well. And let's build this with the most important foundation, and that being around food.
Oh, that's so great. So my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it was consumer side first, and now
Yes.
you've pivoted and it's more so helping some of those small companies. Is that correct?
Absolutely, that is correct. So we started out with BetterCart.ca, which was a web app. And our process there was the same, pulling in all this data. And we use machine learning and AI to support our back end there with all of the sifting through of the products and to distill them in a manner that can be used. So whether we were doing that for the consumer or whether we were doing that for businesses, the process behind in the back end is the same. So we were able then to pivot fairly fluently, fairly quickly to become more B2B oriented. Our use cases are different. But ultimately, again, it is that competitive intelligence that we're driving forward. So we were able to, devise our use cases, understand our market, understand our competition. It did take a bit of time on that end to reorient. That's always a challenge if anybody's thinking of pivoting. You're not alone. But you need support through it, definitely. But it is something that can be done, and that's what we did. So about 2.5 years ago, we pivoted to B2B. And so we are fully B2B now. We have a consumer side under the hood that we can launch, and we're looking to tie a nice tidy bow there, and eventually assist consumers as well.
In the past, you've said that independent grocers and some of the CPG manufacturers, they're often operating without some of these like pricing analytics.
Mhm.
So, what kind of impact can BetterCart make for businesses like that? Like, what value are they actually getting out of it?
Yeah, so we are a company that has a massive amount of data. One of our goals though is not to have companies swim in data. It's not a valuable add to their day to day if they are swimming uphill amongst data that they don't need. So what we do is we look at a company and we say to them, okay, the products that you're interested in having tracked, the products you're interested in having monitored, who are your competitors in your space? So when a company's starting out, it could be as small as two or three products, but they know their competitor set and they want to have a handle on what's their competition doing. And what we do is we surface analytics and market intelligence in real time. So, a company, for instance, a new and emerging brand that wants to learn about whether or not they should go into retailer A, B, or C, they need to understand who else is selling there, what their competition is doing on the left and right of them, what those price points are actually going to be when they get there. And we're able to provide all of that intelligence. We can also assist them understanding a bit more about their category that they're operating in, understanding some of the segments in those categories and the trends that are happening there. Um, so what we are able to do then is bring this to their desktop. They don't have to go out in a city. They don't pound the pavement. They don't have to have conversations with people when they're uninformed. They can go in with our data and have a good understanding of their market. It can be as local as their neighborhood store, right on through to, regional insights across the country as well. So pan Canadian, because we are actually coast to coast to coast. So we look to be that one-stop shop of intelligence for companies, that they're getting that fast, efficient, AI-driven swoop of their environment. We're offering that long historical record so they can understand promotions and regular and sale pricing that their competition has engaged in, the retailers have set, and so on, and use this to inform their conversations with retailers. Um, this is something that has saved companies money, time, so human resources, effort there, and then they've been able to position themselves well for changing retail landscapes, things that are changing on a dime for them. And right now, it's a time of flux for so many companies. And so, if we can bring those insights to them really quickly, and it's a matter of literally, I want Saskatoon, I want this product, I search for it, I want to see these retailers, here we go, boom, up it comes. And that's the beauty of this real time or near real time intelligence that we're offering.
Can you share like a real world example of a business that's used BetterCart to make either smarter decisions or something more profitable?
Yeah. So anytime a company is okay, so if you are in retail, so we've worked with some multinational CPGs, and the Canadian arm of their operation. So in these instances, these companies are sometimes wondering, and they don't have the data to show them which direction to take, but they're wondering whether or not to take a price increase, whether to ask a retailer if they should be bumping up their prices or not. Well, the only way you can know that is if you know what your competition is doing and how these individual brands are trending. And so we're able to um, disrupt that a bit, and we're able to dilute it so that people can see the competition, the competitor brands, to be able to understand their price points, where they've come from in the last few months, and then use that as a base of intelligence to assist them with their price increases down the road. And this was, very valuable when intelligence was, not widespread. Certainly, during the pandemic, out of the pandemic, and a lot of brands are struggling to better understand their market. And when we say we're, helping some groups that, they're competing against these long, big brand players. And so if we can help them stay on retail shelves and continue to thrive and support their longevity, then that's what we want to be able to do. And so we look to, feed members, for instance, and supporting their the investigation they need to do. So, even that, here's the price point in retail. What do we need to reverse engineer this? How do we get it to that price point where they're going to be competitors and be able to compete and likely win if they do these things correctly? And we're one tool that can be used in myriad decision-making processes that a company goes through, but we don't want to have companies operating blindly or with their gut or instinct. It's just not the way to go, especially in an ever-evolving market landscape.
Okay, yeah. Well, and you've said that like pricing is like the number one driver in purchasing behavior
Mhm.
um, in grocery, and it's
Mhm.
the least digitized retail sector. Um,
Yes.
so what do you see kind of as a big like untapped opportunity for using data in food business?
Yeah, that's a great question. If some companies might say, well, hey, look, we offer such a quality product, or we're a premium product. So we don't have my customers are not price sensitive. But nowadays, mostly all customers are price sensitive to some degree. And so this is something that has really shone a light on an issue that we're trying to assist companies with and solve for them, a problem, a pain point for them. So we're seeing, interest in this. We're seeing companies coming from, do you have something like a portal? What are you doing behind there? And to the, well, let's give it a shot. Let's do a pilot. Let's do a trial with you. You said we could do that? Absolutely. Absolutely, we can. So we're seeing people that have, might be getting messages that this type of approach is an important one to take, but haven't been shoulder tapped yet, or had just that right connection and that timing to say, hey, I want to try this. And so we're seeing, and that people like that are coming to the fore, and they're saying, yeah, I want to give this a shot. So that's always exciting for us. We've also known people that, they wanted to solve this problem. They've tried to do that. They've sent their own people out to grocery shop at competitors. They've sent people from store to store to store. They've flown people across the country to inspect what's happening at different locations of retail locations. And now they're like, what? And you'll bring it to their desktop? Yes, we will. That's our goal there too. So we're seeing a lot of interest and openness. And I think that's the key right now is to being as open as possible. And if you find some process that has been simplified, right? That's our goal, is to keep things simple, then it's worth giving that a shot. And we're offering, AI at our core as a product because we need to do all of our machine learning to match exact products or similar products. And we know many food brands don't have exact competitors. They're unique. And so they've got similar competitors. And so we want to bring that AI-based intelligence to the food industry. Um, And so we're seeing that. And then on the generative AI side, so we know companies are, you know, getting on board. They are growing that way and their interest. And I think now we're going to give it a bit of time, but we're developing a lot of exciting things on our end that we're going to be bringing to the market probably in about 4 to 6 months here. So we're very excited about what we're able to do. But I think that adoption, that openness is happening now. And so I think really the sky's the limit, and we'll be able to digitize more of that in a very healthy way, that will, make it a fairer playing field. And that's the
Nice.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and actually, that transitions very nicely into my next question, of what you're able to share. What kind of is on the horizon for BetterCart over the next 12 months? Is there anything you can share with us that you're looking into or growing towards?
Yeah, we're looking at working on predictive analytics. So we're interested in looking at, okay, say there's a food company here. How can we support them? We know that, if you're working with a retailer, you're often, they're going to set the price, but it's good to be informed and to have, your distributor, your wholesaler informed as well, your broker, if you have one. And so what happened? What information or intelligence can we provide to those stakeholders? Could we assist them with predictive analytics, meaning this is what the price point should be or will be, by virtue of our modeling in 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 months down the road. So this will become very powerful, and this is a result of all of our historical data that we're able to use. So this is where BetterCart's a super powerful engine, to be used to assist those that are dealing with futuristic scenarios, and the decisions they're going to have to make in advance. So that's one thing. We also want to work with companies and determine what pack size they need to be packaging at, like based on the competitive landscape. So where can they inch out more profit margin than, does it make sense to do a 500-gram package, or should it be, 512, or should it be a 479, whatever, 75, whatever it should be in there based on what's happening in the landscape. So we'll use all of our data to assist, with these questions. On the retailer side, we support a lot of times independent grocers, so the smaller ones as well. And so they might be able to engage in a wee bit of competitive landscape intelligence and some revenue optimization there. So be able to compete with some modification of pricing almost in real time. So they'll be able to, try very hard in the market and possibly win on price for once. That might be nice for them when they compete with the larger chains. And then we're looking at, being a hub almost for brands and creating almost a networking relationship builder between manufacturers and suppliers and other groups in the food supply chain, to bring them together into a centralized hub, and see what can be created there. Because if we're going to stay focused on building locally, supporting locally, we want a sustainable procedure here where people know who's in their network, who's in their jurisdiction, and they can go and get the assistance they need. So if we can build that will start very small though,
Mhm.
and build out, because we want to get it right. We
Mhm.
do it. But there's a lot of other exciting tweaks and features and reports that we're going to be bringing. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's great. That's a lot of great stuff happening. And yeah, I do find like information can be such a barrier to entry for
Mhm.
businesses and companies, because yeah, it's like if you're not familiar with the process and you're trying to figure out, well, like how do I like what is a co-packer? Like what is like how do I get packaging? Like all these things. So just like
Right.
making that more interconnected for people is
Yes, less fragmented. And that's one of our goals. So we are, when we talk to, for instance, producers, they know what they send their products off. That even that transparency through the supply chain. And we're a bookend. We're like the retail end, there. So let's start putting these pieces together. Let's start ensuring that these players are evident, and that if they're open for new projects and so on, working with companies that they can broker those relationships. But at least people won't be, hello, the cries for help, in the night, and everybody's gone to sleep on them. So yeah, so working with companies to support them, and that sort of just a foundational infrastructure type approach, and that expands our ability to support the supply chain. And that's what we're really committed to here in Canada is really ensuring that we're strong and that we can weather any storm, that we've gone through and that we're in right now, and that we'll weatherproof ourselves for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on a piece right now about food security and how that actually relates to national security.
Yes.
And
Okay.
yeah, that's a
Well, we
deep
need to
topic.
talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yes. Let's get together.
um,
Perfect.
yeah, but pivoting back towards BetterCart.
Yeah.
So since launching, is there like a moment that's been like really rewarding for you since launching BetterCart, or just like a success story that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting that recognition. Like, first of all, I like, being a woman-led company is fantastic. Being a women-led AI company is wild. Especially from my background, I guess, is what I'm saying. So to be able to say that we're doing this, we're doing everything that we're doing, it's coming together. And it does take a few years at least to build up the engine, part bit by bit by bit. But to be getting recognition, I think, is really, really important, and it's recognition from organizations that, specialize in AI and cutting edge technology. And the fact that we're, sometimes on the main stage there is pretty impressive, I think. So that's a really big thing. And then it's also, it's being supported by, you know, groups like Feed, groups like Collabs, groups like, you know, Startup TNT and our other investors, BDC Thrive Lab, and really, working together, and everybody understanding what we're doing, and that support factor that comes through. And there's a lot of opportunity, and so it's that has just been the most amazing thing. It's the most amazing thing to realize that people are opening doors for you and they're supportive. We've had, just the greatest amount of support and excellent conversations. And these partnerships are getting stronger and stronger. And, from Feed to Canadian Food Innovation Network as well, that national reach and your national, like it's incredible. So I think that, there's so many good things happening in this area that we want to maximize, and bring as many companies along as we can right now. It is our time to do this. And, and I'm really proud of the work that my team's accomplished. When I think about it coming from, our start, our very humble beginning there. And, you know, then you automate things, and then you continue to automate things, and you start building. And now we've got people that, have been able to call Saskatchewan their home, Saskatoon their home. They've bought houses, they're supporting their families, they're doing all of this great stuff. And so, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's pretty impressive. There goes a Slack message from one of my notifications. So, but and working hard, and it's about putting all these pieces together. But it's that ride as well that's so exciting, and I'm really super proud of what we've built. Definitely over the last while. So we want to keep going and, continue to let people know that we're here and that we are a great, great solution, and Canadian made, grown, everything else, headquartered in Saskatoon, and happy to have conversations about what we're building and other needs in the industry, because we only we want to learn as much as we can while we're building here too.
I love to hear that. That's so great. And so, yeah, just kind of now this came to mind with some of the organizations you were mentioning.
Mhm.
You've had some good success with like fundraising and pitching your
Yeah.
company. And can you just maybe give someone who might be in your shoes a little bit of advice about that, or do you have anything you want to share about that
Mhm.
process? Because yeah, it's incredible to see.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a big thing to understand how these pitches work. So I think getting, what I would recommend is, I just had a conversation with someone yesterday and they said, oh, sometimes we see companies in their pitches and I just wish I could give them 10 or 15 minutes. You know what? Company X, Y, or Z, that's exactly, go get that 10 or 15 minutes from somebody that's willing to help you. If you're not in, connected with people that actually know that lay of the land, then go learn about that and become educated about it. When you get a bit of a flow going, um, that's when the best things are going to start emerging. It's a lot of work to start putting this down on PowerPoint and knowing the right amount of information and I don't want to get into the weeds here because I could immediately, right? I just like,
Yeah.
okay, and then the story, and then the arc and everything else. But, you know, you're doing what you're doing because there's a need. And I think there's some wonderful samples out there if you're looking for CPG related, food company related, beverage company related pitch decks. And like I myself have some. And reach out to those people that have been doing this for a bit. Why not? I mean, you don't have to go to an investor necessarily to get that assistance. You can rely on another founder, who has done this, who has won a competition or two, who does understand this, and who gets, when you're starting to get a pitch deck that's like, okay, I don't see any problems with that. This is good. This is good. You've got something. You're practicing it. And it becomes so much easier to deliver. But it's not an overnight thing. It takes time and a lot of learning goes into it. And don't be dismayed if stuff changes in 3 to 4. It's a working document too. So there will be times at 10 o'clock at night or 11 or 2 in the morning that you don't want to open it up again. But that is your story. And, so lean on people if you can to get some help. Knock on my door, send me a message. Happy to jump on, for what do we need? We need a bit of a look in on some slides and then start that direction, giving and that person's going to get better and better at it, and they'll be so proud of themselves when they feel like they delivered something that took people from A to Z. Yeah, it's a show. It's a production, right? So you got to bring it when you do pitch.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's so well said because it's never, yeah, your pitch deck's never done. It is kind of evolves as like depending on, obviously what you're pitching for, who's
Hmm.
investing in it, right? Like there's
Hmm.
ways you can
Hmm.
always tweak it and stuff, but having that really solid basis like makes it so much easier than kind of like starting from scratch or having to jump
Absolutely.
way back in. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
very good advice.
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
All right, so I have one more kind of just like industry related question, and then we're going to pivot to a couple like fun ones before we wrap up.
Okay.
So I was just wondering, what advice would you give to any food entrepreneurs who are maybe overwhelmed by the idea of data-driven decision making or AI in general?
Mm-hmm.
If you have any kind of advice.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I agree because there are elements to getting more and using more software and doing this, that, and the other thing that can feel like you just want to pull the covers over your head and that's enough for today. I have a headache. Um, what I would suggest is there's going to be if they were to lay out the different related parts, the different components of their business, they could ask themselves, well, where am I blind? What do I not know about? And if you're hearing somebody like myself, speak, and you're thinking, okay, I don't actually know about my competition. And we hear this from accelerators that are working with food companies and other food centers that say that's the one area we can't help our people on. We can provide so much infrastructure, so much expertise and everything else. But this is the one area. And it's now more than ever, I would say if there is something you are feeling a little more blind about, then go at it. Not, you don't have to go gangbusters at it and tear it up, everything, but start off slowly. Just treat it like an onion, I guess. Pull it back and just learn something. Make it a small nugget, if you will. And then, okay, sift that through, assimilate that information and accommodate, make that work in your component structure, right? And then when you're ready to go back, pull another layer from that onion and incorporate that, apply it if you can. And I think it takes this conscious effort to do that. And we're founders and we don't have a lot of time. So it's just saying to ourselves, it's okay to do this, what, we call deep thinking or deep strategy, and do that for ourselves. Sometimes our heads are so far down, they're in the weeds and we're not seeing much, right? But step back and say, okay, well, if I go on this lily pad, pretend you're a frog now, but if this lily pad, this lily pad, this lily pad, you'll get across, so to the other side. And I think don't do things that are overwhelming. Again, it's about, if somebody knows, okay, you can call this person, you can talk to this person, and let's do it. That's a good thing. If anybody can make anything easier in your journey, take advantage of that. But bit by bit, there's enough out there stressing people out, and we are, women founders, and we have a lot on our plate. We're super incredible in all that we do, but nevertheless, there are going to be times when we're going to hit the wall, and that's okay too. That's okay to take a bit of a break. Step back, because you're going to need a day or two or three off, believe it or not, and you're going to come back to it, but you're going to be just that much better. So bit by bit, I would say, use people around you, and let them do some interpretation if you're feeling a little blind or stuck. There's lots of expertise out there that can translate things and make it palatable, and so you can assimilate and move on.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So we're going to pivot. We're going to go to a couple of little fun questions before we wrap up.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm that fun.
We'll find out, I guess.
Oh dear. Oh no. Yeah.
So when you're not deep in data or fundraising mode, how do you like to spend your time?
Okay. Well, okay. So some of it is kid related.
For sure.
So I'm oftentimes in the evenings, I've got a 15-year-old and two daughter and 13-year-old twin boys. And so I am often watching soccer. But I love the game. So it's a fun thing to do, especially this kind of weather. It's gorgeous out. So get outside, get in the fresh air a bit. That's a nice change of pace, being indoors. And so I like that transition. I love going to movies. I love watching stuff at home if I can. That's a great way to end my night, I think. I like to read a little bit more for pleasure. But yeah, I think one of the things that's, also it's great if you can get away, a day or two here, there, or whatever you can do. That's always a nice thing. And so, if I can build any of that in, I will do that. And then surround yourself with good people, right? Like that's important. Those can be those uplifts when you need them, and that doesn't cost a thing. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of social time in there is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you consider your ultimate comfort food?
My ultimate comfort food? Oh gosh. Okay, probably a pasta of some kind. And then it would come along with some like a beautiful like sourdough, something. I mean, can we get any like thicker, richer, anything like that? No. And then I would, I'd have some great red wine probably, and hunker down. Like that's like really nice for me. And, sometimes when there's nothing pressing, those times are rare, but if there's nothing pressing and you can just relax and just enjoy, I love food and good food is fantastic. And I wish I had more time to cook, a bit more, but if I eat some pretty good food at my house and, I love it. I love it. It's just a great way to end the evening or anything along those lines. So yeah, probably a pasta would be great. I love
Mm-hmm.
steak too. Oh my goodness. Sign
Yeah.
me up.
Yeah, we love to talk food over here at
Yeah,
Feed.
I know. I'm good. Yeah, sign me up. Yeah.
Fellow carb lover over here. So,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so if you're stranded on a desert island and you only
Mhm.
get one condiment for the rest of your life, what is it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh wow. One condiment. I would probably say something like, okay, I can't up a certain, I think it probably a mustard or something like that. Yeah, probably like maybe a fine grain mustard along those lines. And I'm gonna try the Gravelberg mustard soon. So yes, so maybe something like that I would take. It can go
Great.
both ways,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely needs to be something universal.
Like a little mayo and ketchup in there too, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, absolutely. Or
Yeah.
hot sauce, always good.
Well, now you're speaking my language. So hot sauce is a mandatory, but I'm thinking for the rest of my life, hot sauce might be hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely fair. This one's easier. So pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's not a pizza without pineapple for me.
I love it. Sweet and salty combination.
Yeah. Yeah,
And if you
absolutely.
had to enter a dish in a cooking competition, what would you enter?
Um, I would probably, that's a very good question. I would probably enter, maybe a bean dish maybe that I make, which is
Ooh.
really, really good. Yes, it's delicious. So it's very fairly quick and everything, but it's awesome. And I could eat that that's a comfort food too.
Mhm,
It's amazing.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think about the answer to that for myself, and I was like,
And what would yours be?
well, I was trying to think about it, and I was like, I get a lot of compliments on my buffalo chicken dip, but I don't know
Ooh,
the
oh my gosh. There you go. Yeah, you go.
competition quite
Change
level.
that food center right now. Yeah, start developing it. Yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
fantastic.
okay, and last one. Is there one kitchen tool you can't live without?
Probably a good knife. Yeah, definitely. You've got to have that. I mean, all the vegetable, all the chopping that you need to do and
Yeah,
everything else if you're doing it by hand. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
that's a common answer, which does make sense.
Yeah.
It's a very
Survey says 100 points. Woo. Yeah.
yes, yes, exactly. Nailed it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Melanie, for taking the time out to
Oh,
chat
you're
with me.
so
It has
welcome.
gone by super quickly, and so yeah, I just
Yes.
wanted to thank you for joining us today.
Oh, what a pleasure. It's so great to see you. And thanks for inviting me on the podcast, Lindsay. And look forward to chatting with you soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you to our listeners for indulging your entrepreneurial appetite with this episode of Friends of Feedies, brought to you by Feed Canada, our funding partner ISET, and founding partner, the Saskatchewan Food Centre. If anything we have discussed today has ignited an entrepreneurial fire within you, but you're not quite sure how to get started, or you're craving mentorship and coaching to help grow your business, please reach out to us at feed.ca. That's FEAD.ca. Connect with us on social media. We're sprinkled all over the digital landscape, and our team is ready to provide the mentorship and coaching you need to flourish. At Feed, we're here to empower women in the agri-food industry, so don't hesitate to reach out to us to join our vibrant community of foodpreneurs. Until next time, bake those dreams into reality, stay hungry for success, and continue to nourish your entrepreneurial spirit with Feed. Bon appetit.